Hello everyone, and welcome to another Company Heroes 2 replay cast. My name is ATR, and today we're going to have ourselves a 1v1 on Road to Kharkov. Our heroes today are going to be Mr. Nosliw, playing as the US forces in the blue, and his opponent in the pink or purple trunks, depending your preference, is going to be E-ZY, otherwise known as Easy, playing as the Nosliw or Wehrmacht faction. Road to Kharkov. Nice little map we've had now for quite a while. Not one of the originals, but has been in the game now for quite some time, and I like it. I like it quite a bit. I actually have some of my own games featuring the map. Pretty bad games for my part, but, you know, which games featuring me are not bad, right? I guess not a lot of you might know that anymore, because I haven't done that in a while. I'll try and see if I can get some games in this new patch. So anyways, Nosliw, for his starting build, goes for rifles and rifles. He is, of course, the US forces, so why would you expect anything else? Easy, for his part, however, has gone for tier 1, which, even though standard, is, you know, not, you know, something that needs to be done forcibly anymore, because we've seen a lot of, you know, techless openings for the Nosliw. But no, Easy goes for the 2 grants. He does get that MG42 very quickly because, of course, you can build it from the HQ, so he's not going to wait, you know, to get first 2 grants and then the MG, because he doesn't need to. He, you know, started building his things, and then he goes. So MG42 on the left-hand side. First engagement of the game, we have Pios engaging rifles over here on the left-hand side. Pios did go for this strategic point, managing to cap it, and it looks like Nosliw is going to set up in the other shack across the way. They're going to be firing window to window. The SMGs are going to do nearly no damage to the rifles inside, and the rifles, well, I mean, they're not even shooting back at this point anymore since the Pios are gone. So there goes the stalemate. Center map, Grens and rifles engaging at long range. The Grens are not really able to shoot back. One guy is able to shoot. The rest are just sitting around there, waiting for word about what to do. And the rifle setup in the heavy cover, of course, we're not really going to be falling, especially with the light cover over here. They would have won the engagement, even at that long range. Although I believe they win at long range, right? Anyways. Some more rifles coming onto the map, getting straight into the center. The Grens managing to cap the strategic point. They're going to have to backpedal. They do have the support of the MG42, so Easy seems to be trying to bait the squats into the MG, and we see a Teller mine. Wow, a very aggressive Teller mine getting laid down by Easy right at the exit to Noslyw's base. So over on the left-hand side, most of the troops you see come out through here, but, you know, that is, of course, another exit, so it's a potential hit. We'll see if we can keep track on that. Mortar getting produced for Easy. He also went for a second MG42, trying to contain that US Forces player. Nosliw, for his part, I believe is building. Yeah, he's building himself a lieutenant, since he hasn't built anything in a while. Still can't see it on the bar here of production, which sucks, but, you know, that is the way of things. So he's going to have a lieutenant, and I can only assume he's going to be coming out with either, well, I'm going to assume, yeah, never mind. Utility car is what I was going to say. And I took a little bit too long because now he's building it, and you're going to say, no, you waited until he built it. It was either going to be that or the half factor, considering the state of the game right now. I had my money on the utility car. So big engagement over here on the left-hand side. Grens in the heavy wall, getting engaged by rifles and rear echelons. The rear echelons popping into the house to... Oh, wow. Early loss there for Nosliw. He did put in the rear echelon squad to bolster the numbers inside, but the rifle squad continued to get peppered in there, and down it went. So rifle squad has been killed for Nosliw, but he is coming out with the utility car now and does have the lieutenant, so, you know, not down and out or anything. Utility car popping out on this left-hand side. Is it actually going to hit the mine? Well, potentially. It's right here. Utility car coming out. The engagement still goes on. Let's keep an eye on there. No, he's gonna miss that. Okay, there you go. So yeah, it's an interesting and aggressive positioning, but yeah, it's kind of hard. It's not exactly a choke point there. So utility car on the field, Nosliw managing to win the engagement on the left-hand side. A little bit costly considering that he lost that rifle squad. But he did go Airborne Doctrine now, or well, Airborne Company. And gets himself a Pathfinder squad. Pathfinders, pretty good. DPS-wise, I'm not entirely sure how they compare to rifles, but they do, you know, put out a lot of damage. They have more range, but you need to keep them supported. They are not mainline infantry. So I can only assume that comparable to a rifle squad, they actually do more damage, if they are allowed to. Lieutenant squad pushing forward. The Gren's managing to target down the lieutenant himself and take him out. That means no Thompson submachine gun anymore for the squad. The remaining lieutenant squad pops into the house as they were given orders. Bar rifle able to open up on the Gren's, and the Gren's are forced to retreat. Vehicle crew popping out of the utility car, gonna get some repairs going with their bazooka. As the lieutenant captures the point, we do have the mortar on the field. The mortar hasn't really done anything so far, not even hit anything. And we do see Tier 2 having gone down for Mr. Easy, and a 222 coming out. Utility car will struggle significantly against the 222. Crew obviously can pop out and use the bazooka for that, but you know, it's a risky maneuver considering that you put yourself in a position where you could leave the vehicle decrewed there. But we'll see if that actually, you know, comes to play. Ambulance coming onto the field as well for Nosliw. We see the lieutenant squad backing off. Utility car taking some bazooka shots, and here comes the 222. 222 getting some shots flying. Whoa, the utility car managing to dodge most of that, taking a hit to the front and backing off. So utility car is now completely aware that 222 is there. So the element of surprise has been lost for EC, but you know, still a big threat, and that utility car is not going to have free reign. Oh! Well, there you go. Nosliw reverses to the teller mine, and down goes the utility car. A nice pickup there for Easy, as his mine ended up bearing fruit. So the 222 now has nothing to do on the field. We'll have to settle to shooting infantry. We'll do a good job at shooting infantry inside the house. The houses with themselves will take a decent amount of damage to the autocannon. You can see right there. So potentially bringing them down. And we also have a turn the camera. There you go. A 50 cal coming out into the field for Nosliw. Not exactly needed to be built, but you know, it's better as far as manpower goes, because he does have, of course, you know, the Airborne Company, which you can drop in a 50 cal if you wanted to. However, you still have to crew it, and then you have to reinforce the crew and all that. So in the long run, it actually ends up being more expensive. The perk of it is that you get the ability to do that if, for example, you skipped Tier 1 and went for the captain instead. Likewise, Nosliw could go for the Major now and skip the captain and still have access to the tank. One of the reasons I like the Doctrine. So 222 harassing all over the place wherever it can. Rifle squad getting caught by it, gonna have to retreat. 222 not gonna pursue, so the rifle squad will make it out of there. And Easy just moving around through the southern part of the map, trying to recover some territory. Nosliw did lose his utility car, but he still has most of the map in his possession. Easy slowly working his way to recover it, but it's going to take a little bit. And we obviously do have 50 cal machine gun looking in the wrong direction. Always remember though, there you go, you do have the facing orders ability, and that allows you to direct facing to make sure that you're shooting at the right guy. 50 cal is now shooting at the MG out on the field. The MG will get suppressed and pinned down, making it essentially useless, and the 50 cal inside won't really suffer anything because it's inside a house. Pathfinders engaging against Grens. They are going to lose the engagement, but they actually end up retreating as they started getting targeted by the utility car. 50 cal machine gun popping out. We see a paratrooper squad getting called in to replace the lost numbers of rifles. Always a great choice. The utility car may actually have a shot here of getting a Pathfinder squad. It is trying to chase it down. Pathfinders are still 2 in number, so yeah, it looks like they're going to make it out of there. Utility car, bit of a tough spot here. The 50 cal will pop in, try and get some shots on it. Needs to reposition though, because it's not looking in the right direction, unfortunately. There it goes, and the 50 cal won't be able to open up on the utility car, although it is still sitting there, so it's actually able to get some shots. Now it has to reface, and there it goes. Yeah, so it's going to play hide and seek there. Right-hand side, bigger engagement. We got Grens and Pyos getting engaged by rear echelons, the lieutenant and paratroopers. Paratroopers getting upgraded with the LMGs because, again, why wouldn't you? The Thompson submachine guns, as cool as they are, seem to pale in comparison to the LMGs. Rear echelon squad may actually kill itself here, down to one man, forced to retreat. Can it make it out? Looks like it might make it out, yeah. 50 cal machine gun did get killed off here by the 222. 222 proving to be too strong by moving back and forth between the windows and then chasing it down when it exits. Main gun did get destroyed on the 222 as the paratroopers were able to gun it down with their LMGs. Grand squad trying to go for the ninja steal of the of the MG. Easy laughing as he just got himself gunned down and lost 3 of his Grens for nothing. Grand squad itself did make it out of there with 1 man and an LMG, so, you know, not an entire loss or anything, but yeah, tried to steal that MG, did not work out. Very difficult steal regardless because it's so close to the enemy base, so it would have not been unopposed. If he had been able to keep the 222 there without, you know, taking too much damage and having its gun online, would have probably been a different situation. Up in the north, Grens capturing territory, going even for the fuel. LMG paratroopers and rifles closing the distance on the Grand Squad. Grand Squad forced to retreat, managing to save that munitions point. The fuel on the top is not as lucky though. Gonna get capped by the Grens. They're still gonna get engaged here by the rifles and the paratroopers. Probably forced to retreat rather quickly. Yeah, they actually retreat as soon as they cap. They're not gonna let themselves get killed or anything. And they lose 1 of their men. Maybe a second one to the fire. No, looks like they're gonna be fine. And it's going to take Nosliw a little bit to recapture the territory. 222, fully repaired. Once again, moving over on the left-hand side. We do still have that MG42 currently capturing the victory points. Victory points are 485 for Nosliw, 307 for Easy. So Easy is, you know, the losing end of that. But we do see the Major now out on the field for Mr. Nosliw. And yeah, like we said, he can skip tier 2 because he can get access to those 18 guns by para-dropping 1 if he needs it. And I'm assuming, though, that with the Major out now, he's going to build some type of tank. Probably a Sherman. Sherman is the more well-rounded option pretty much all the time. No vehicles aside from the 222 right now in play to really merit Jackson, and the mobile howitzer is also an option. It's a more fragile option, but it is great against infantry, so we could potentially see one of those 2. We'll see what ends up coming up. The MG42 catching the lieutenant out in the open. The lieutenant managing to crawl his way into the shack and being able to open up on the Grens across the way. 50 cal machine gun taking a lot of damage to the Grens. Wow, stop it, Brain. And forced to retreat. Wasn't going to be able to do too much against the Grand Squad since it was inside the house. And in the center, we see a big push here as rifles, paratroopers, and the Pathfinders push up. And what they do. LMG on the Grens trying as best they can. We do have cooked grenades on the paratroopers. So there goes a grenade. Forces them to flush out. Collapsing the house completely, and the Grens are left without a home. Grens are now out in the open, but they don't have anything to fear as the lieutenant has been flushed out of the other house and forced to retreat. And we see the Sherman getting produced for Nosliw, as I correctly predicted, even though I said 2 options, but yeah. Sherman is what makes most sense. It is more well-rounded. Quickly kill that 222 if it gets a chance. And it's actually able to survive, you know, shots from anti-tank guns if it puts itself in a bad spot. Grand Squad on the left-hand side, barely making out of there, down to 1 man, sliver of health, but it stays alive. MG42 trying to set up against the approaching infantry. Rifles on the left-hand side going to get focused down and suppressed. They are trying to capture the point, but we have a paratrooper squad with LMGs on the right-hand side, flanking the MG. It's not outside its arc of fire, but it's so far apart that it's going to take a while for it to aim. Manages to force the retreat of the MG, and the 222 comes into play. The paratroopers are still there. This rifle squad has access to anti-tank rifle grenades. The Sherman is now on point. It takes a shot, and down goes the 222, exactly like I said it would, and that is how the cookie crumbles. So Easy, yeah, immediately builds himself a pack gun. He needs one, that is definite. And could have used one a couple seconds earlier? Sure, but I mean, again, it's one of those things where May as well be using that resource for something. I mean, he is up to almost 600 manpower now, so yeah, he could have potentially made that earlier, but I don't think it would have changed that engagement. Even if he had hit the Sherman would have only taken a little bit of damage, and the 2-2 would have still died. Pyro squad on the right-hand side, taking a nasty shot there by the explosive shots of the Sherman, losing 2 of its men, but making it out of there as the 50 cal machine gun moves up to the right-hand side to try and close the gap. Not the gap, but close the flank. Rifle squad on the left-hand side, getting caught by the Grens with their LMGs. Everybody gets on the LMG, and yeah, they're forced to retreat. MG42 behind them, so this is going to be a tough thing to crack with only infantry. Sherman moving up. The Grens will be throwing a Faust at it, I can only assume. No. Managing to hide themselves behind the building. Sherman taking some shots at the building itself, trying to see if he could hit through it, but the explosive shots impacts on the walls and detonates before it can hit the opponent. Rifles, rear echelons, and paratroopers moving up. They're going to get right on top of all that infantry and flush them out, allowing the Sherman to take the shots as he pleases. But the pack gun has been moved into position now. We'll be able to cover the entire approach. Again, the Sherman can move up and do some damage, but it is putting itself in harm's way. Managing to get some nice shots there on the Gren squad on the left-hand side as it stays out of range of the pack gun. Right-hand side, the rifle squad is getting suppressed here as it's getting shot by an MG42. Managing to engage the Gren. The Gren squad will get targeted here by the Sherman. The Sherman pops the corner. Rifle squad trying to retreat. Sherman breaking line of sight. Oh, the Sherman impacting the wall in front of it, and the Gren squad actually stays alive. Left-hand side, the Gren's managing to push back the remaining infantry, and Nosliw is unable to make the push on the left-hand side. Tier 3 now down for Mr. Easy. He is building himself yet another Grand Squad to replace his numbers, but also building a Panzer IV to fight that Sherman. The Sherman now has an uphill battle in that sense, since it has to contend with a pack gun as well. But it is currently getting repaired by its crew, so it will be back to full strength in a little bit. Paratrooper squad still moving up to the left-hand side. We don't have the MG in range of the paratrooper squad, so it's able to push back the Pyos. And on the left-hand side, the Grand Squad trying to cap that strategic point, manages to decap it, but forced to retreat as the LMGs on the paratroopers and rifles on top of it. Take a chunk of health, down 2 men, and they barely make it out. We do have a med bunker at base for Easy, so he's going to be fine. The Panzer IV is now online, moving over to the right-hand side. 50 cal machine gun going to get taken out here if it doesn't retreat. It does retreat, but can it make it out of there? Well, it does spread out magnificently there as it retreats, allowing, or not allowing, the shots to do too much damage to one. Splitting up as it crosses the Grens, taking some extra damage, but still at 3 men. Maybe lose 1 more man. Yeah, there it goes. Loses a man on the retreat, but it makes it out of there. Rear echelon is running into the Panzer IV, forced to retreat once again, and we now have an anti-tank gun getting called in for Nosliw. On the left-hand side, we see a big push here as rifles, paratroopers, and pathfinders, and all manner of things, even the lieutenant, make themselves known. Shots flying from the Sherman as he switches over to armor-piercing rounds. Gets a nice hit there on the Panzer IV. Panzer IV forced to back up. The pack gun is there, at maximum range to the Sherman, but now in range to take a shot. Sherman takes a shot at the Panzer IV. The Panzer IV now told to focus fire on the vehicle itself. Oh, the pack gun gets decrewed, but Grens quickly move in to replace it. Paratroopers, rifles, and everything trying to hold the line. Rifle squad down south is down to 1 man. Needs to actually retreat, but it looks like Nosliw might actually be focusing. Oh, yeah, as he's currently focusing on the Sherman. The Sherman goes out of control as the pack gun nails it, and the Panzer IV eliminates it. Forced to retreat on everything else, and the Panzer IV stays alive at about 25% strength. A big loss here for Nosliw, and he even lost a rifle squad to boot there. And Easy holds strong, able to just stay on the field, and will continue to push forward. Gren's going to need to get some reinforcing, but Nosliw is now going to have to reconsider his life and think about it. Nah. Going to have to consider again whether he wants to go for another Sherman just to have that armor, or if he wants to go for the Jackson and try to kill the Panzer IV. We'll see what he ends up deciding with. But he does have that AT gun that got called in, so at least there's that. So the Panzer IV can't just simply walk all over everything. Rifles also have access to the anti-tank rifle grenade, so that's always a threat, but there is only 1 rifle squad on the field now, since he lost the second one. And, yeah. Panzer IV is going to have free reign throughout the map. Or, an easy time around the map. Not really exciting. So Lieutenant engaging Grand Squad in the center point, trying to capture that victory point, denies them, but gets itself shot. At least the Lieutenant gets himself shot. Killed. The rest of the squad gets pinned down as the MG42 gets grenaded here by paratroopers, managing to kill most of the troops, but both of them get pinned down, so they are unable to finish off the MG42. They do retreat a very short distance as the Major has been set up as a forward retreat spot. Ambulance on its side to be able to reinforce and fuel up. The LMGs and the MG42s managing to catch most of the infantry here as they are reinforcing and moving out of the field. So that is going to be very painful here for Nosliw. He needs to push that out and push it now. He, of course, needs support of something bigger than the infantry, as the infantry will get pinned down by the MG42s. So we'll see what he ends up doing. Paratrooper squad trying to crawl out of the way. Rifle squad pinned down. Needs to move back. The Major needs to move back as well. He himself gets suppressed, in fact. And there it goes. Ends up hitting retreat. And the Panzer IV is going to push forward. May actually have a shot at killing the ambulance here. Looks like he's going to focus it. Yeah, there goes the ambulance. So another nasty kill there for... well, nasty loss there for Nosliw. Ends up having to call in the P-47s. Managing to get some nice hits there on the Panzer IV. But unfortunately for Nosliw, he does not kill it. Panzer IV even blitz itself out of the way. And the radius of attack, even though with the old one he would already be out of it, but the radius of attack for the ability, the rocket strafe, has been reduced so that, you know, it doesn't cover such a large area as it did before. So the Panzer IV is essentially out of combat for a while, but the P-47s are not going to be able to target anything anymore, because even though there is infantry around, P-47s only target vehicles. Can they kill infantry? Sure, if they're standing around a vehicle when they're strafing, but not by themselves. They're not going to go in for a run at the vehicles. Second Panzer IV getting built for easy. It'll help him out quite a bit. We see Nosliw going ahead and building another Sherman. It is the yeah, I mean it is pretty much the only choice he has. Like I said, a Jackson is a potential option, which in hindsight right now would probably be better, considering that the second Panzer IV is coming out into the field. Obviously, Nosliw doesn't know that. But yeah, I mean, the Sherman is a decent option. It's going to be able to fight back. It's not going to die right away. And it could potentially set you up in a position where if you get the advantage, you could actually kill the Panzer IV. But with two Panzer IVs and a pack gun, that Sherman is not going to be able to do too much. All it is now a deterrent for easy to simply just run into the base and kill everything. Lieutenant being utilized in the fastest way possible as he rushes forward to his death. Actually, no, that wasn't the Lieutenant that died. Yeah, the Lieutenant's actually healthy since it's a Lieutenant. So the bar and the Thompson machine gun doing a lot of damage up close there to the Grand Squad. Grand Squad forced to retreat. And yeah, he's running around, making a good cap unit. Second Panzer IV on the field. We'll see if Nosliw realizes that is a second Panzer IV. Telltale sign is that it does not have an MG on top, so you could know that. But of course, the also other noticeable thing is that, well, it is not the same Panzer IV that is currently attacking him on the left-hand side, so I'm pretty sure he knows that there's two now. Major making it out of there on the left-hand side. I mean, everybody was forced to retreat. We no longer have any medics. We do have the Sherman in the center. This is... what is that? 50 cal machine gun getting dropped on the field. Did it get dropped, para-dropped, or did it get killed? Considering the bodies and the explosion right behind it, I'm assuming it got killed in some engagement earlier on. Maybe, yeah, well, all the MGs were around here probably. I didn't really spot it, but it doesn't really matter too much. Nosliw probably wants to recover that, but since he doesn't have the ambulance, he can't really do too much. And now, of course, since he realized that there are two Panzer IVs on the field, he is going to go ahead and build a Jackson, which is, you know, of course, a legitimate choice. Probably the best choice. Well, obviously the best choice to fight vehicles, but probably the best choice for his composition. It's a good thing that he has a Sherman, though, as well, because that actually gives him the flexibility to fight against the enemy. But easy, currently basically setting up a concave pin here against Nosliw. Has him pinned into the center. Center troops are trying to move around. Pack gun is... where's the pack gun? That gun is currently in the center, staring down Sherman, but being a little bit off range. Sherman moving up, getting some shots there on the infantry, forcing the retreat of the Pios. And the Panzer IV has taken some damage, so it's not in its best shape. But the Sherman also takes some damage to the Panzer IV, so it has to back off. AT gun is there to support it, so maybe he's trying to bait that Panzer IV to push forward. But I don't think that Easy is going to be falling for that. And of course, he has 2 of the victory points, so, you know, time allowing, he would eventually win. Of course, considering that Nosliw has 426 points to his name. That would take quite a while, and that gives Nosliw the opportunity to build up and make a comeback. So I don't think he's going to be wanting to do that. Paratrooper squad moving forward. Grant's capturing the center point with the triple cap. That is a different scenario, as the points bleed very quickly. Pathfinder squad going to get killed. No, actually manages to cloak itself while it ran through that and stays in cloak for ever. Wow, that's a long-ass cloak. I don't remember them actually keeping the cloak once you moved out. I thought it was just like while in cover. From cover to cover, not like the snipers, but it looks like that's actually the case. There you go. Maybe that happens with the veterancy. It is veterancy 3, after all. Panzer IV taking some shots here to the Sherman. Let's take a look at that veterancy. Increasing side of Pathfinder. No, it doesn't say anything. So unless there's a change, I mean, I guess maybe it changed at some point. I don't remember them being like that. I just remember them having cloak while in cover, but they wouldn't. They keep the cover as soon as they moved out of cloak like the snipers. But I guess that's how they work now, or maybe that's how they've always worked. Then I just didn't know, and I assumed. And maybe I'm the dumbass. So yeah, Easy essentially just set up here on a base pin. Has his forces a little bit spread out. That Panzer IV over here on the right hand side is a little bit exposed, but it is actually, well, it's dangerously sitting on top of a Teller mine, but it's with a Teller mine. And oh, that Sherman's gonna take the bait. Hits the Teller mine a little bit further back, but it does lose its engine. What is that? Engine damage, normal engine damage. So it can actually make it out of there. Should make it out of there right now. Could potentially just pop out the crew, repair the critical damage, and go back. Jackson, not currently set to prioritize vehicles, takes a shot at the mortar, and some within one, but then goes ahead and focuses fire on the Sherman. I mean, not the Sherman, the Panzer IV, and the Panzer IV goes down. Sherman tank still online, managing to retreat. The Grens are trying to chase it down. It has doesn't have high explosive rounds loaded. Bad already. And we now see the Lightning War Doctrine getting called in, and Stuka closer support getting called in on top of that. Goes in for the kill, and down is the thing. Oh, Panzer IV in the center also getting called in on a rocket strafe, getting some nice hits. But you do have the Jackson. The Jackson is all the way up in the north, but it could just move now. I mean, there is of course the lingering effect of it's actually kind of more deadly to Nosliw than it was to Easy. But there goes the second barrage. Down goes the Panzer IV. And the Jackson scoots its way back, tries to stay alive against the Stuka. The Stuka is coming in for another pass. No? Nope. Looks like it wasn't able to acquire any target, and it just flies away as the other rocket strafing guys just move along as well. So Nosliw managing to, you know, get kind of the better end of that situation there with keeping his Jackson and killing both of the Panzer IVs, but he is pretty limited in the territory. Also with the Lightning War Doctrine, Easy does have access to a Tiger, does not have the fuel. Well, now has the fuel, so there comes the Tiger. There comes the Tiger. No, there comes the Tiger. There comes the Tiger. There we go. Grand Squad retreating from the center, managing to decrew the AT gun, but the AT gun gets recrewed. 50 cal machine gun still there. The pilots could actually steal it if they wanted to, but somebody tells me Easy it doesn't really care about a 50 cal at this point, I guess. He already tried to steal it once and it didn't work out, so there goes. Pathfinders moving out in a little bit of a cover and cloak, but they end up shooting at stuff. You can actually set them to hold fire and, you know, send them, you know, through cover to cloak, but there is an MG42 looking at the point, so it would have been very, very difficult. Another Sherman on the field. Considering the Tiger, it would have been preferable for another Jackson, but I mean, oh, So Easy senses Sherman trying to kill the pack gun, managing to get a hit on it, but the Tiger is now on the field. Tiger is turning itself around, going to be chasing or focusing down the Sherman. Sherman does manage to decrew that AT gun, so it opens up the flank. We see a nasty shot there by the Jackson. The Jackson does have access to, well, it doesn't have to just yet. Oh, Sherman gets shot up, gets abandoned, and the Jackson detonates the Sherman. He says, no way am I letting you keep that alive. Quick thinking there by Nosliw, as the Grens were apparently just sprinting towards it, trying to get that. Tiger took a little bit of a hit there, still up to about 75% strength, maybe a little bit more, so it's quite fine. Does have 2 Pyos on the field to repair it, so it'll take quite a bit. And paratroopers are trying to go for the points on the left-hand side, but that MG is just sitting there and covering it. Not going to open up the flank. Needed the Sherman to maybe go in that direction and prod up instead of going straight through the center. I mean, usually the center is going to be the most defended zone. And yeah, the Tiger now sits itself there. Oh! What happened? Why did he... Well, I guess Nosliw realized that he was fighting a potentially losing match. He has essentially lost his victory point lead. He still has 50 points up, but he's currently triple capped, not being able to, you know, capture points. So yeah, he figures, you know what, I don't think I'm going to be able to make it. You got a Tiger. I can't build another tank, and I won't be able to cap territory. So yeah, Nosliw throws in the towel, realizing that death was imminent. So there you go. So anyways, guys, I hope you enjoyed the game. If you have any positive or negative remarks, go ahead and leave them in the comment section below. If you have any replays you want to send me, go ahead and send them to the email that I will put in the description. But otherwise, I hope you guys have a great day. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.